Okay, this is to answer the question of how the worms are doing. Um, this is my worm bed that I have right now. I keep the flower pot on there just for some extra weight. I don't think it needs it. Empty box on top. Notice it's got a screen bottom in it. This is my worm bin super, if you will. If you're a beekeeper and you know about super in your hives, I kind of super my worm bin, but haven't had to use it yet. I just leave it sitting on top for weight. And the reason being, when I have this newspaper, I keep the newspaper over the worm bed to keep it dark, hold in some moisture, help insulate a little bit. But when I first set this up, I came out here and I had something was ripping up my newspaper and digging into my worm bin and eating the vegetable scraps I'd thrown in there. And it was these dadgum field rats that have gotten into my greenhouse and were rummaging through my compost bin. And then they decided that they could move over onto my seedling table there, and they started eating all my seedlings, which really irritated me because they ate my bluebonnet seeds. I was really excited about sprouting some bluebonnets. And every time, just a little bluebonnet would start to come up and sprout out some true leaves, they'd eat it. So I gave up on trying to grow my bluebonnets, at least for now. But what I'm going to do, I've got all these chunks of lettuce and stuff. I know the best thing you can do is blend it down to help the worms eat it faster. But in the interest of time, I just threw it in here. So that's some lettuce that went to seed on me. Here I've got some carrot tops. Here's that chunk of that potato vine that was growing. Here's the potatoes in here that were sprouting. And you can see, still got some pretty impressive roots on them. But those are what sprouted in my bin, complete darkness. And there's the worms. You guys were asking how the worms are doing. I think you can see for yourself. They're doing pretty good. A lot of little ones in there. I suppose that could be an indication that they are reproducing. I sure hope so. But I think what I'm digging through here, if I can get through the roots, I think this is just about pure worm castings. When I filled this bin, I put in some peat moss here for bedding. I think that was it, just peat moss. So I think anything that's in here, it's either worm castings or it's compost or composted peat moss. Regardless, it's good stuff. Good quality stuff. I'm looking forward to putting some of this once I sprout some seedlings again. I might just use this for my seedling sprouting medium. But I'm going to go ahead and close it back up for right now. I think I am going to have to move it as the weather gets warmer. I can't leave it in the greenhouse. It gets up to 120 in here sometimes during the summer. And even with the soil being an insulator and the newspaper and keeping it moist, I think it's still going to get too hot and the worms aren't going to like it. So I'm going to find a spot on the north side of my garage. It stays shady pretty much all day long. I believe I'll move them out there. I've just got to make sure I can set them on something sturdy. So I also get a lot of water runs through there, so I'll have to set them up on some bricks or something so they don't get washed away. But anyway, that's it for the worms. That was, I believe, when I bought them, I want to say 5,000 red wigglers from Uncle Jim's Worm Farm. And they seem to be doing real good. I don't know what I should expect for output, but I don't do a whole lot with them. So for what they're doing and what I'm getting, I'm happy. I feed them when I think about it. And that's about it. So that's it for the worms.